Favorite Saved by the Bell episode without I'm so excited.
Ladies, we've lost our talent. No partying on the weekdays. No beer. Zach, you're breaking all the rules here, bud.
Happened in the 90s.
Blow your whole load.
No. I like that you said that right when you hit live. Don't blow your whole load.
Did you know May 22nd is World Goth Day?
I love that. The goths have, they have to have one day. Who's the greatest goth, Steve? Is it Marilyn Manson? Is he the one?
I mean, he would have to be the king of goth. And
I,
plus,
I felt dark, but I never wanted to adopt the goth, Steve.
Dude,
You know?
no. I totally could never see you doing that. That wasn't your vibe, man.
I feel sad inside a lot, but just like a goth, just outwardly, no, I couldn't do that. I'm too happy to do that. I don't know. I don't know if they're even unhappy people. I've just never really been around a lot of goths, so I guess I just need some goth education.
Perrysburg can do that to a person.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we didn't have more goths. To be honest with you, it seemed ripe with goths. We didn't even have many goths at BG. College. I feel like maybe you see a couple goths running around. It's like PCU. There's a little everything.
I think around that they became hippies at that point.
Yeah, they just got into weed, started playing guitar, trying to play Dave Matthews, trying to get some puss.
Sure, bro. Favorite Saved by the Bell episode without I'm so excited, without mentioning the Jessie.
Dang. The one where Slater and Zack get in the physical altercation over the chick, I kind of enjoyed that. We covered it.
Yeah, the fight.
To tug at the heartstrings when Kelly can't afford the dress and they have the prom in the back, like by the garbage cans. I like that one. Yeah. Or Zack having like a man boner for Belding's scumbag brother.
We cover that one.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, we've covered a lot of the good ones. And those are two that like top of the list. I mean, the prom one, that's like sort of like cemented as probably a top 10 Saved by the Bell,
I really like the one where she got played by Jeff, because how dare you?
Yeah, I kind of forgot because we kind of got into like a Kelly Kapowski's kind of shit vibe on this show because she was like making some bad moves into some older men.
Yeah.
Jeff's the Starship Troopers guy. Yeah. That was a good one too, but I think Belding's scumbag brother, it just gave me the vibe of like the Fresh Prince with the scumbag dad, and he's just there just to kind of like get your hopes up. So I think I'm going with that. How about you?
Man, it's hard for me to pick, man. Because that Jesse Spano episode, that is my favorite.
Yeah.
But outside of that one, a lot of them are tied because I just want Zack winning by the end. Any episode where Zack is the foil by the end of the episode, like I didn't like the one where he tried to come on to the school nurse and like the gang caught wind of this. And so they talked her into like joining their prank. And she's like, yeah, my husband, by the way, he's a wrestler. He beat up Hulk Hogan and blah, blah, blah. And like, she basically scared Zack. Like, man, even though Zack was trash, I bought into it. I want him to win. All of his hijinks, I was for it. Some of them are pretty bad, but it's like, dude, I want him to win.
He's a grifter, Steve. He's got little schemes. I love that about Zack. I don't like that kind of person, but when I'm watching Saved by the Bell, yes, you want him to succeed.
You want him to win.
Is he grifting a bunch of nerds to get something? Yes. Is he getting a little bit of extra money through some kind of weird, like shady dealings? Of course. Yeah. But he's got a lot of hair product he's got to pay for. And he's out here chasing an incredible amount of tail. You know what I'm saying? So salute to the man. He is garbage, but he's our garbage.
Hey, them brick phones can't pay for themselves. This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Backstreet Boys posters and your Blackstreet CDs, because it's all right, because I'm saved by the, it's all right, because I'm saved by the, it's all right, because I'm saved by the bell.
Yeah, who shreds that at the end, Steve? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
I want to know who that genius is. Is it fucking one of? Is it Eddie Van Halen just doing that? It's somebody good.
Today, my friend, we're talking all things May 22nd in the 90s. It's backcountry out here. Starting off in 1990, Madonna would release her album I'm Breathless. I only wanted to cover this because of Vogue. Like that song, it stands out from the rest. It really is a Dick Tracy soundtrack. It's got Dick Tracy on the cover, and it's done in that same like 1950s style, a lot of that jazz singing. But at the end, Vogue, I have to acknowledge that because it was a whole thing. It was a movement.
Yeah, I feel like we're too young or old or whatever to have gotten onto the Madonna train fully. We didn't get the best that she had to offer. But Vogue was a thing, Steve. Everybody liked it. It eventually became like a Hall of Fame song for drag queens.
Yeah.
So, in that way, it's everlasting. I mean, as long as there's drag queens, this song's going to be at the top of their charts. It'll sneak up on you. I like this song, but it's just like all of the hits that we know,
From the 80s.
those 80s hits, we shouldn't like them, but you just can't help it, Steve. They're kicking. You know
Oh,
what
the
I mean?
slapper.
It just is what it is. So yeah, but Vogue, I'm not going to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, but I enjoy it, Steve. I'll Vogue when it comes on. I'm in the car going.
Mm, 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 mm. 1992, Alien 3 premieres. Returning from LV 426, Ellen Ripley crash lands on the maximum security prison, Florina 161, where she discovers that she has unwittingly brought along an unwelcome visitor. Directed by David Fincher, starring Sigourney Weaver, Charles S. Dutton, Charles Dance, and Lance Henriksen. And I didn't realize that the scene behind me came from this movie. I just assumed it came from another Aliens, but I didn't like the movie. I thought it was boring and
Yep.
it doesn't touch the original, but this iconic scene is used a lot.
So many problems with this movie during the production of it. If you could look into it, there was like 8 different versions of the script.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, he didn't direct it because maybe because of these issues, but eventually they bring on David Fincher, who we know from Fight Club, from Seven, great director, But even he, at one point, he got like banned from the cutting room. Like it was just a production fraught with issues. I think that they had like a award-winning cinematographer who, like a month in, had to quit because he was dying and just got too ill. So it was just not stacked for success. It had good bones. Everybody loves Alien and Aliens. They're great movies. Ridley Scott nailed it. And that's why they wanted to bring this back. But yeah, this is where this franchise kind of veered into like a dumbass area because this, I feel like, and then there's another one called Resurrection after this. They start to sort of try to meld the alien with humans, and there's all this like weird connection with Ripley and stuff where I don't know, I wasn't a fan. And you're right, this movie's boring. I think that's what everybody said. It's just long as fuck for no reason. It had everything that it to make it good. I mean, having David Fincher direct an alien movie, like if you heard that now, you'd be like, I want to see this. But this just
But
wasn't
at the
it.
time,
He was just a newbie. He's just a guy
he
who
was a
directed music videos and shit.
and it was Sigourney Weaver that basically went to bat for him because he caught a bad rep because of this movie starting off in his career. And Sigourney Weaver believed in him, and she said that this guy is going to be a great director in Hollywood in the upcoming years. And she was right.
Legend. Some of the greatest 90s movies. I didn't dig Panic Room, but I think there was some cool stuff in that. But that Zodiac movie's great. Aliens 3, you can just skip this. Skip this and Alien Resurrection. Just, move on.
But shout out to the Fincher, though. Also in 1992, Encino Man premieres. When they find a frozen caveman in their backyard, 2 high school outcasts thaw him and introduce him to modern life, while he in turn gets them to actually enjoy life. Directed by Les Mayfield, starring Sean Astin, Brandon Fraser, Richard Masur, Pauly Shore, and Michael DeLuise. I always thought Richard Masur looked like Ben Roethlisberger, and I mentioned that earlier. Years ago, he was in another movie from the early 90s, and it's like, dude, he looks like Ben Roethlisberger sped up.
I don't see it, Steve, but whatever, dude.
Not the hair. Look at just the face, the same nose, the same like jowly cheeks.
Yeah, you're right. He's got that
He-
Midwest, just like white guy look, you know? But I gotta say, this wasn't it. I mean, this isn't what got Pauly Shore famous. I would say Son in Law, if we're talking movies, was that. I never liked Encino Man, Steve.
It's
This
a
is the only thing I liked from it.
We's a little juice.
That's it.
What about the part where he's talking to Richard Masur and he's like, "Yeah, if I had the whole Brady Bunch thing going," and then he calls him a cruster.
I mean, the language, yes. I mean, any Pauly Shoreisms that we can pull from a movie, it makes it 100%. But yeah, dude, I wasn't into this. And I should be because it's got Frasier in it also. It's got Samwise Gamgee's in it, which I completely forgot about. But
Quietly killed it, man. Sean Astin is another one. Like I don't feel like he was always like a superstar, but he was in some big shit.
I mean, Goonies, yes. Rudy, yes. He got pigeonholed, you know. He was the sweet guy, and I think that kind of worked out for him after it got to like Lord of the Rings era. But there was this time where he wasn't the cute little kid from Goonies anymore, where he had to kind of like figure it out a little bit. Rudy, it worked
Pick up.
out for him. He was a small little kid. He had to be cute as an adult, kind of. Yeah, dude, I love me some Sean Astin, but this, it just isn't it, Steve. Caveman movie, I'll watch a cartoon about this more than I want to watch this movie.
And also something important of note, Ki Hoi Kwan. I hope I pronounced it right. Speaking of Goonies, he was actually one of the students in this movie. And there's a scene where Ki Hoi Kwan is talking to Brendan Fraser's character. And ironically, they would win Oscars the same year. Brendan Fraser for Best Actor and Ki Hoi Kwan for Best Supporting Actor. So I found that interesting, man.
Just
They
took
shared a scene.
decades to get to. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the one that's mind boggling to me. The fact that Data from Goonies is now like more than that. I thought he was just going to be that forever. He's eclipsed that for sure. Now he's like a badass. Everybody loves him.
shout out to Ki Hoi Kwan. On that same day in 1992, the final episode of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson airs on NBC. Yes.
Yes. I need a job. Yes.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I mean, this was TV. This is all time TV, Steve. This was it. This was not even necessarily passing of a torch, but just the end of an era.
The godfather of late night television, man. He predates Saturday Night Live. 4,531 episodes.
One thing I found sweet, very sweet and interesting about this, you think this is like the last show of Johnny's career. The crowd's going to be huge. It's going to be a standing room only type situation. The whole audience for this, friends and family of the crew and for Johnny, you know, it wasn't like just randos. They
And it
just
was a
had
clip show.
yeah, exactly. This guy is so important. Like even when we were little kids, Johnny, the Tonight Show, this was it. Like, but more than Jay, more than anybody, he was late night talk show. I mean, he was that. You ain't watching anything else.
I mean, the guys that we look up to, Conan's, the Daves, I ain't gonna say we look up to Jay, but those guys, they looked up to Johnny, man. They set the blueprint, you know, and it's not just Johnny. You can't sleep on Ed McMahon's his presence was definitely felt, man. Like, you know, I think David Letterman, he took a note from that, man. The relationship he has with Paul Schaefer, same thing with Conan and Andy. You
Yeah,
got to have a sidekick, man, to bounce off of each other, bounce that energy off of each other, man. And those guys set the tone.
yeah. I don't know how this stacks up to like TV now or just all time TV ratings, but he had 80 million people watching him. And I know there wasn't a lot of TV channels and stuff, but it's just that's an astonishing number for just that. That's how much people love this guy.
That is some weird and wild stuff, indeed.
And also like because we love stand-up comedy. We both are like super into stand-up comedy. This guy was like the tastemaker. Like if you got brought to the couch, that meant your life as a stand-up comedian was like cemented. You've done it. You've reached the level and now you're gonna reap all the benefits. You know, it was like you've made it, type situation. And I don't think everybody always expected it, but like the legendary people that were able to be on this show, we all got to see that happen for those guys. I just always thought that was so cool. Like, this guy is such a cool dude. Like, if he says you're cool, everybody says you're cool,
It's a green light. That next day, phones will be ringing. You want to star in your own sitcom, or you want to be the wacky next door neighbor?
Yeah. You just had to get that come on over to the couch thing. And he didn't give it to everybody, but yeah, dude, Johnny, it's crazy how far away we are from this now, because I still remember this. Like, I still remember when he was going to retire and how big of news that was, like, across the board. Everybody, it was all anybody was talking about. I don't think that we're ever going to get somewhere close to this in terms of like, I think late night TV in this form is just about dead.
It's a dead format.
It's just used to like sort of like kind of create clips to put on YouTube at this point. And I mean, this guy, legend, funny, all the little things he did, Karnak and all those little goofy shit, when he had like Jack Han on, so many things that were just like Hall of Fame TV moments. I mean, I still remember watching this stuff with my grandma, and it just makes me laugh.
Man, R.I.P. to both those legends, man. That following year, 1993, Saved by the Bell is airing season 4, episode 26, Graduation. Zack is one credit short of graduation. Jessie worries about being valedictorian. The kids graduate.
It happens, Steve.
That's the Amazon description. That's all they said. The kids graduate.
I mean, this was it, Steve. As people who grew up on the show, I remember like, this has to be what my graduation has to be like this. I love how this show set us up for failures. We're going to talk about it more for the college. This was the culmination. Was this the last like episode of this? Like, because when you look it up on Amazon, there's more than 4 seasons. So this wasn't like, they had the Saved by the Bell, the summer stuff, the Hawaiian style. There was other like little mini series of this.
Well, Amazon has it out of sequence because they have it set so that all of the Tory episodes are the last season. But those episodes were a part of this season, and Kelly and Lisa weren't even in those Tory episodes, but they're in this final episode. This was shot before Tory joined.
Fucking Tory, dude. I never liked Tory, Steve. I bet you like Tory though.
Her and her stupid butch leather jacket. It's important to note that this was actually a re-airing. This initially aired on December 5th in 92, but they re-aired it prime time. So that's why we're covering it tonight, because it's a setup for the premiere of something else, Saved by the Bell.
Yeah,
possibly last time talking about this show, man. I think exercise all of our opportunities. This might be it. So we had to hop on it.
I mean, and we lived this, Steve. We graduated high school. This starts off, as a lot of Saved by the Bell does, we're going to the max, right? Everybody in the main gang, they're celebrating their last final. I remember this. You're free, Steve.
Never have to take another test.
Until next fall, when you have to take way more tests.
Yeah, way more.
They're celebrating that we meet these 3 nerds who come in very important in this episode to remind everybody there's a dance practice, Steve. They're doing Swan Pond, and these nerds are part of that. Kelly's just really going to miss those nerds. Big Pete, Scrawny Bob, Spazzy Jim, whatever their names were.
Cummy Carl.
They're nerds, Steve.
She's going to miss everything. She's going to miss going to the max. She's going to miss the floor, the walls. And also we find out Jessie, she's gung-ho about being valedictorian. She needs an A on that final exam, so she can get a higher GPA than everybody else.
And everybody who's not Jessie's like, shut up. Like, it's in the bag, kid. Like, you're the only person who doesn't think you're going to be valedictorian. So they're kind of pushing that away, which will come into play later. But as they're like kind of talking and stuff at the mag, Zach's like, you know what? I got to go. Bell Dog wants to see me I guess he just wants to say goodbye because he's going to miss me so much because we've been spending so much time together these past 4 years. But I got to go hang out with Belding one last time. So I'll see you guys later.
He goes to Beldings and he already has it made up in his mind, like, oh man, Beldings gonna miss me. He's probably gonna give me a car. Yeah, I know he love me. Hey, hey, Belding, don't even say anything, man. I'm gonna miss you too, bro.
Yeah,
Put her
I'll
here. You
sign
know
your
what I'm saying?
yearbook. Okay, Belding, fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But Belding's like, it ain't that easy, dude. Remember that class you missed in sophomore year? I forget what it was. Maybe it was a drama
Theater
class.
arts.
Yeah. He's like, you left to go get some tail, but you didn't pass that class. And now, Zach, you're not going to graduate. And Zach's like, wait, what? He's like, well, surely there's something you can do. And Belding's just like, dude, the classes are done, bro. There's nothing you can do. You're taking summer school. That's got a summer school.
What
Fuck.
two things that don't even go together.
Yeah. Zach don't play like that. So he's bummed, Steve. We cut to later. They're out in the hallway. He's telling his buddies, like, hey, man, like, I'm not going to graduate. And everybody's like, oh, man, that sucks.
Man, it's too bad you can't be in our show. All I got to do is get into that show. Maybe I'll get credit for it. So now the wheels are turning. He
Yeah.
hasn't completely figured it out, but he goes to Mr. Belding. He's like, I've been having trouble with the summer school selection, man. Maybe you could help me pick up a course. So while he's talking to Belding, Big Pete comes in and he's like, man, I pulled a muscle during rehearsal. You'll have to get someone to replace me for Swan Pond.
Belding's like, Jesus, no. Big Pete, you were the heart of the show, man.
What are we going to do now?
That stinks. That stinks, Belding. What are you going to do? I mean, I'm here trying to figure out these classes, but it is weird because, you know, I don't want to tell anybody this, but I actually have a little bit of training. I'm classically trained.
Yeah.
Taking
You
dance
didn't know that, did you?
Did you know that about me?
I could trust you, right, Mr. B? I took like 10 years in dance lessons. Like Deborah Allen, she actually taught me. Her and Paul Abdul. Yeah, they used to give me private
Glover came over, taught me some tap.
Yeah.
I'm classically, but you know what? Don't mind me. I got to go pick this class. And Belding then is like, oh, you know what, Zach? This actually is interesting. You said you're trained. Maybe we could get you in this show. And maybe if that works out, problem solved. You're going to graduate, my friend. So Zach's
I'll
like,
guarantee.
oh, and then we see outside, we cut to outside, and we see Slater throwing a little heavy handshake.
He just gave him a Letterman jacket. That was
Oh,
his
that's
pay.
yeah. I thought he threw. I'm getting episodes confused. There's some bribery in both these episodes, but yeah, a Letterman jacket though.
If you gave me a Perrysburg jacket, I'm burning that shit.
Yeah,
I'm burning that shit. I don't care who it came from.
you
I'm
can just
burning that
buy
shit.
a Letterman. I guess he wants it for free. That's what it was. But yeah,
Fucking
Big
nerd.
Pete, he's not going to take a dive just for nothing. He needs that Letterman jacket for whatever reason.
Because he's a nerd.
Yeah, I just want it. I'm not going to get a varsity letter this year. Zach's in. Belding makes the call. Zach's a dancer. He's got 10 years of experience. And now everybody's answer, you know, prayers are answered. Zach's the answer to everything, as he always is, Steve.
Always.
Always.
2 steps.
Then we cut to actual dance practice. Ladies are there looking great, looking fantastic, dancing well, as they
As
should.
always.
Big Pete's loss is announced by the dance instructor, a very effeminate Mr. Lazar.
He's sassy.
Ladies, we've lost our talent, but we've got this guy. The legend's already gotten here, and Mr. Lazar's like, well, Zach, you're completely trained. Like, show us a plie. Show us this and that. And Zach's like, oh, yeah. And in the background, the girls are like pantomiming what he needs to do in the dance move. So he tries to throw a little triple lutz. I don't know what they call this move in the professionals. He gets the spin down, but he just takes a nasty L, Steve. And it's not looking great for Swan Pond.
Yeah, he lying on his resume. We got a building's office, and Lisa comes in with this gaudy ass medallion for Jessie, because in her mind, Jessie's the valedictorian. And building's like, you know what about that? It's going to be another student that beat Jessie out. Lisa asks, well, who is it? That's when Screech pops in.
And turns out, Steve, Screech Powers is the valedictorian. He's the genius, man. Of course he's the valedictorian, but he finds out, and this is what kind of Screech is, Steve. He's like, wait, I beat Jessie out? No, 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 no. I can't do that. I can't crush that
Yeah.
chick's dreams. Just give it to her.
Yeah. Because
And
I
Belding's like,
actually
dude, you're the
cheated in biology.
Yeah, but Belding's like, dude, you're the valedictorian. But no, Screech is like, hell no. And I think this is also Steve. He's a nerd. He doesn't want to speak in public, but he's also a great guy. At least he
Gotta
gets to
stop
see
that.
that firsthand, even though she's trashed him for 4 years of high school and probably before that. She chases after him. She's like, dude, what are you doing? And he basically says that. He's like, I'm just a geek with a squeaky voice. Like, I'm not this. I'm not the guy. Let Jessie
But
have
you
it. Do
earned it.
not tell her I gave this shit up. Keep it a secret, bitch.
We find out that the ballet is going to be canceled. Without a full cast, the show can't go on because I guess the other nerds, they came down with an illness.
Flu, Steve. I mean, this is fucking. Is it flu season? I think these guys are all taking a dive at this point. Big Pete, without him, they can't get out there. So now the recital's off, and Belding's like, hey, Zach, sorry, you're not graduating again. Sorry for this roller coaster of emotions I'm putting you on. Zach's like, wheels are turning, schemes. How can I get out of this? I don't got enough money. So he's like, look, if I can get some replacements, Mr. Lazar, can we do the show? And Mr. Lazar's like, honey, yes.
And Jessie finds out that she's the valedictorian. I think Belding tells her right then.
Then we cut to the dance recital, Steve. Bayside High's proudly presenting this train wreck of a dance recital. Girls come out again, well prepared, killing it, doing what I think is ballet. I mean, it looks pretty official.
Yeah, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't know how to plie with the best of them, but it looks pretty good. And then Zack, he can't ballet to save his life, Steve. He's out here spinning, he jumps, he falls 8 times.
Knocks people over.
He's destroying the set. He's destroying his dancing reputation. But
AC's got the moves though.
yeah, and
As
we all
usual.
knew that. AC's always had the moves. He's always coming out doing that. That comes from a classical background, Steve, because he comes out and just starts doing the damn thing, Steve. Better than the ladies, to be honest with you.
He does like a high kick, like on some Rob Van Dam shit.
All of it. He does a Jean-Claude Van Damme, yeah, like the double, like the split kick. He does a couple of spins. He's doing the one-footed, like that thing. Then Screech comes out because they only have themselves. So Screech comes out looking like crackhead Toucan Sam.
Like a turkey.
Yeah. And he bursts an egg on stage, Steve. I mean, I don't know what Swan Ponds is about story-wise, but this is wild shit,
Is it a real story?
I hope not, because if this is what it is, it's wildly inappropriate, I think, if nothing else.
This needed no rehearsal. They could have picked anybody off the street. They could have picked us. Like, hey man, you need to be on this show and you might like touch on some hot chicks. All right.
Cool. Or just give a crackhead one hit and then let him go out on stage for 5 minutes, because they get a standing ovation, Steve. Screech lays an egg. Everybody goes crazy. And then they start throwing eggs into the crowd for some reason. But you know what? A standing ovation's a standing ovation, Steve. This is A+ material at Bayside for Mr. Lazar, at least. So are they going to win a Tony, I believe is what the stage actors win? Absolutely not. This is amateur hour. But Zach's going to graduate, Steve, and that's really what matters,
And apparently this is the first play that people didn't walk out on. Damn, I hate to see those other plays.
We did Peter Pan and the kid shit his pants on stage. It was fucking crazy.
They're like, we got to do this again sometime. And then it kicks in. It's like, oh, we won't be able to do this again.
This is it. This is our last night. We graduate tomorrow, guys. And everyone's like tearing up. Everybody's AC's getting teared up. Screech he's losing it. Kelly, she needs some fucking tissues. But Zach's like, guys, what are you guys talking about? We're done. We're free.
We made it.
I graduated and never studied. Do you know how much tail I got in these 4 years? I've made some kind of record here, but yeah, everybody else, they're losing it. Slater and Jessie have a snuggle. They don't know where they're going. They're not
You'll
going to
always be my mama.
Yeah, hell yeah. End of an era, Steve. Another end of an era. And this was actually where
Yeah.
Jessie finds out about the whole Screech situation. And I
Yeah.
do like the little bit of shade that Lisa throws on here because it's like, bitch, you've been making fun of this guy for 4 years. She's like, maybe that little nerd just is the reason you're valedictorian. She gets all shitty with Jessie. I'd be like, bitch,
Yeah.
you fucking
Yeah.
fucked this guy's whole life up for 3 years.
Jesse's like, how did he make me valedictorian? Well, he got a higher GPA than you, bitch. But like he knew that it would crush you if you didn't get it because you've been making it a big deal. And then that's when reality hit her like, damn, like I just call this dude a nerd and he did me a solid.
This might
And
be a better world if there were more nerds like that, don't you think,
yeah,
Jessie? Fucking bitch.
I'd still be rejecting them all, but we go to the graduation now. We're at the ceremony, and Jessie, she gets called up as the valedictorian. And as she's giving her speech, she's like, you know what? I gotta be real. She calls up Screech, and he's the real valedictorian. But Screech, when he gets up there, he's like, man, no one's made me feel so good than my best friend Zack. And I feel smarter knowing him, probably because I did all his homework. But I kind of need my buddy up here because he's a better talker than I am. Come on up here, Zack. So you got the guy with the highest GPA and the guy who barely graduated on the same stage.
And if I'm Belding, I'm like, hey guys, this isn't round robin here. Like this, make a speech. I ain't having Zach come up here and saying this, but Zach comes up and he does what he needed to. Steve, he is a man of words. He's a man of action and of the people. And he's like, I thought this was going to be the best day of my life, but I didn't think about what I was going to be losing. All these friends, all these memories, all that time with Mr. Belding getting punished for schemes.
86 girlfriends.
Yeah, 84, 86. Who's counting at this point? Love all of you. But the ones also who stuck up for me when I was one credit short of graduating, those aces in my deck of cards that were there for me this whole time. My crew.
And I might let Screech do all my homework in college too.
Yeah, we'll see about that. And then we see everybody get the diploma, Steve. Belding gets his little last moment with everybody. Kelly's in tears. Screech is in tears. He even crumples his diploma accidentally when he takes the handshake. And he's like, oh, God.
They're all over the place with the naming. And I get it. For sitcom's sake, you got to do what you got to do. But like they went from like Screech Powers to like Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah.
And like to back to
It ain't
Lisa,
alphabetical,
like,
Steve. It's like by popularity, I think. I don't even know because the nerds get theirs, and they shouldn't even been included. If I'm being honest,
was Ox there? I don't remember seeing Ox.
Hell no, dude. Ox is gone. He went to vocational school. He's doing HVAC. Penta. They get their diploma. Don't do it alphabetically, and then Zach go last. He's like, "We did it, everyone!" Man has like a Mary Tyler Moore experience, like a little freeze frame, and that's it, Steve. They're graduated.
Yeah, one
They're
last
go
breaking of the
night,
wall.
have a couple of beers that they got illegally in a hotel with some friends, and just have some fun that summer. Maybe have a finger fuck a girl that you didn't even talk to in high school. The Screech.
I spy with my TV trope eye. They borrowed from a couple sitcoms. Like this same thing happened to Will in Fresh Prince, where he was like one credit short. So he had to do a play where he's dressed like a flower, like a sunflower, and he had to perform in this kid's play. And then the whole valedictorian thing actually happened on Boy Meets World, where Topanga and I think is it Minkus, like they had that whole thing going, like, oh, I'm the smartest. Well, I'm the smartest. Well, I ain't care about none of that shit. Just let me walk this stage, my grandma proud, and I never see most of y'all motherfuckers again.
Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. You can't take it back once I'm off the stage. No take backsies. I'm gone.
And I'm not gonna miss it.
No, hell no. I'm gonna smoke this gross ass cigar for no reason, and then I'm gonna drink illegally that night and have some fun.
I always thought those people who got emotional towards the end were corny as fuck. Like, why are you like fuck these teachers? Well, not all of them, but fuck that principal, fuck Mr. Henline, fuck a lot of these coaches. Like, why are you crying? You have nothing else going on after. You got no. You suck.
I was Zach the whole time.
The whole
Because I
time.
had friends that were like this, dude. I was in like band and stuff, and the band kids were like, "We're all going separate ways." I'm like, guys, I don't ever have to play this dumb shit again. Even though I regret that now, but like none of the emotion, all of
No.
the excitement, dude. Like, because
It was
I was
all
ready to go. I was ready to be the fuck out, go live my life, go live my new college life with my boy Steve over here. We weren't that good of friends before, but yeah, we were on our way to college, on our way to adulthood, Steve.
it was a buildup because I don't even think I knew you at the beginning of high school. I think it was just over the years being on the same bus, being in some of the same classes, having our locker next to each other, and just
That
like
geometry class we had, Steve, with what's his face? Was it
no, that was
geometry or algebra
algebra.
2?
I was algebra 2. Yeah, yeah.
That class, because we'd
That
come in
class.
off of every Sunday or off of Monday, like on Tuesdays, and be like,
Yep.
"Dude, did you see what the fuck happened on wrestling last night?" That's what happened.
Yep.
So yeah, I had no emotion about it. I was totally ready, totally happy, and to be honest with you, I had a great time the summer after high school because then all the walls went down and I just got to hang out with people I didn't know, felt cool as shit, and just basically partied all summer. It was the greatest. It was one of my greatest adolescent summers of all time, Steve.
No doubt, man.
Blowjobs, everything was happening for Matt G at that summers. You know what I mean? Just fantastic.
And then we follow that excitement up to Saved by the Bell, the college years, because that debuts on NBC the same night. Graduation is over. Zack, Slater, and Screech are ready for a whole new slew of college adventures. They move in together for college and are excited to discover they have three beautiful female neighbors.
Hmm. And I just have to point out before we get into the actual story of this that 90s, especially, I feel like, and just stuff set in college in general, sets the person, like a real person, up for complete disappointment when you get to college and see what the reality is. You're like, I'm going to live in this gigantic suite of a dorm room and it's going to be great. I'm going to have my own space. And it's not, you're living in a closet with on bunk beds with another dude, you know? So I feel like we got set up for failure there. And also the co-ed dorms, I mean, this wasn't what they meant by co-ed dorms, Steve. You know what I mean? Not, hey, I can walk into this little common area and see a chick in a fucking
A
towel,
towel.
which
Yeah.
happens immediately, Steve. I mean, Zach's here for 5 seconds. He's like, oh shit, two almost naked ladies.
We had a co-ed floor,
Yeah,
and you might have saw that if you walked on to their side, but on our side, it was a lot of cigarette
gross.
smells and
Yeah.
vomit on the bathroom stalls.
Weed
It-
smells. Just there's a lot of smells, a lot of just fucked up pranks, just a lot of bo too. Because I feel like there was a lot of guys that lived in that dorm that didn't know how to wash properly. They didn't know how to wash their ass, to use Martin Lawrence's parlance, Steve.
a lot of adolescents who weren't housebroken.
But I gotta say, I hate the theme song. Standing on the edge of tomorrow. It's very just like the visual of it's very like Melrose Place, I feel like, or like
Yeah.
sort of that Beverly Hills 90210, where it's just like them hugging and like little flashes of scenery going by. Yeah. Um,
Today.
I didn't like it, but I gotta say, I think something went wrong with Zach over the summer because in the graduation episode, he says he's going to Yale, East Coast. You know what I'm saying? But here he's at Cal. Steve, I don't. Maybe he didn't get the award letter, or he just didn't pick the classes in time. But
Boy, you barely graduated.
yeah, he's in Cal U, and he does his little Zach Morris thing. That's still here. He's doing the like break the fourth wall thing, and he's like, I'm here. Co-ed dorms, parties, keggers, two chicks
Yeah.
walking by in some towels. This is Zach Morris. This is it. This is Shangri-La for fucking Zach Morris, Steve.
He moves into his room, or what he thinks is his room, and as he lays down, two girls come in and they claim that room. Like, dude, what are you doing here? Stranger danger? This is our first time meeting Alex and Leslie.
Yeah. Two little tenderonis, Steve. And he's like, look, I got the key here. I'm 218 just like you ladies. So pick whatever bed you want. But I'm going to be here. And if you guys need like a back rub or just like, anything at all, Maybe just like some oil liniments rubbed into your skin.
Essence Atkins played a teenager for like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, she probably still looks basically like this in the like what she does now.
She does.
The show. The girls are like, look, dude, like this is the girls' side of the suite. Why don't you take your ass over on the other side, get past that beautiful kitchenette, beautiful living area, and go hang out where you belong? So Zack moseys over there. He's rooming with a familiar face, Steve. Him and AC, they're locked in, and AC's, I mean, got the room filled with all the weightlifting equipment, which now I appreciate. I don't see any bongs there, so 18-year-old Matt would have been like, "Come on, man, let's."
Yeah, you're too bro-ish for my standards.
Yeah, who wants to do this? This is fucking with the feng shui. They're figuring it out. First got there, and we're just, it's like 10 o'clock at night. We're like, dude, we got to go find some weed. That's the beginning of it. You know, it wasn't great, but that's what it is, man. We're out on our own. We get to do bad kid stuff.
And then I suddenly had my friend come in, and he smokes with cigarettes.
This is usually my bedtime, but I'm up robo tripping.
But did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Yeah. Oh, wow. HBO? We get to watch, and we have that movie channel that had new release movies on it. That was pretty dope.
I kind of want to go back.
Yeah. Just for that. You know, maybe if there's no financials, like I don't want to actually financially pay for it again. But then we cut to the student union, Steve. Zack, he's a rich kid, you know? He doesn't have to have a job, but AC does. AC's in his little polo shirt, his little student union digs.
The Falcon's Nest.
Yeah, dude. Slater's like, look, man, I gotta work. That scholarship I got for wrestling don't cover it all. So yeah, it sucks, but you know what they say about guys that work at the student union, right? And then he goes over to talk to some just beautiful hottie that's here. Instead of getting the usual AC Slater, like, oh my God, look at those muscles. She's like, yeah, this table's filthy. Clean it up and get the fuck out of my face. You know,
She's not feeling it.
AC is getting shit on in this first day. It's all been all green lights for AC up until now. And maybe
Still.
college is going to be a little different.
Real world.
Yeah, exactly.
Zack,
I said you, not three people, bitch.
they try to adult this show up because in the next scene you see all three of the guys in their drawers. You know, AC's pumping iron. Zack is looking at some book shit, and Screech is on the
Shirtless,
computer.
in his undies. Like, why are
In
you
his undies.
studying in your undies while everyone else is in it? Like, we can dress, we can put some clothes on. AC,
It's
throw
not
a
Saturday
fucking
morning.
shirt on, bro.
Hey, it's
I'd
prime
shit
time
if
now.
I walked in, Steve, and you were sweaty, shirtless, doing alternating dumbbell curls in the room. I'd be like, dude, this Mikey
ain't gonna work.
203 is gonna need a new roommate. We gotta get the fuck out. You can't be here anymore, bro. This ain't right.
Oh man, yeah, that would have been a dark spiral right there, man. But not only are they in their drawers, Leslie, she comes in a towel.
And she's like, look, guys, whoever stole my mane and tail, my shampoo, this is special shit. So Zack, chill out. And Zack's like, I like also Zack, Mr. Machismo, when a girl walks in, he's like, oh,
What are you doing here?
nipples, like covering himself. She's like, look, guys, we have to set up some guidelines for this suite. So meeting in the common room in 2 minutes. Okay. So we cut into the middle room because that's where they all hang out. That's the common. As they're sort of getting to the business at hand, this gigantic dude walks in named Mr. Rogers. We had a kid who was an RA in the
RA, yeah.
dorm. And I guess that's what Mr. Rogers is like he's the resident whatever, but this is a full-grown fucking man here. He just walks in and is like, I'm going to tell you the rules. It's fucking scary, dude. But what's his name? Bob Golick?
Bob Golick.
He's
Because I get him
Mormon
confused with
Golick.
his brother, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
not
I like how Screech says, it's Ohio, and it talks.
He's a resident director. He's kind of like everybody's mom if she played for the 49ers. He was a linebacker. He does not take any shit. And Zack runs into a brick wall, Steve, literally and figuratively, because usually he's able to charm his way out of everything. He's a schemer. He's a scammer. You know, he knows how to get what he wants by just using his words. But Mr. Rogers, he's like, I've seen it all, dude. So enough with this pretty boy shit.
You can't run game on me.
He's told to go to the showers, and as he's walking away, if that's not bad enough, Screech is like, hey man, I was seeing you there looking like you're getting the shit beat out of you. So Screech just basically throws a little salt into the wound, Steve.
Dude, you never saw this because you know AC, man, I got a reputation. Oh, I know. AC Slater never gets pinned. Why is Screech there? Let's start there.
He's there just to check on everybody, Steve. He's cemented. College is nothing to this guy. So he's checking on his boys, but he's like, guess you gotta try to get a couple more hours of practice in there, AC. But yeah, Slater never been pinned. Very embarrassed about it. Shut up about it, Screech, he says. Then we cut to the dorm. That night, the guys are hanging out with some clothes on, thankfully, that this time. They're not just lifting weights and studying shirtless. Turns out Zack found out tomorrow's Leslie's 18th birthday, or the girls come in and announce this. So Zack's like, you know what that means, dudes? Party time. Fuck Mr.
In the very next scene, I like how they wasted no time. We got to squeeze all this in these 22 minutes plus commercials.
Yeah. Zack and Slater, they're kind of just watching because this is their dorm, so they're like, yeah, it's going pretty good. And I like that we see Screech. Everybody else is losing. Zack, AC, they're getting kind of shit on him. Some hottie walks up and is like, you're in my class, and he's like, oh yeah, I think so. And she's like, you know what? I'd love to study, but I'd even just like to just slow dance with you. And Screech is off to the races, Steve. He might be getting some head that night.
She respects him for his mind.
Then Leslie shows up. And she's pissed that some meathead's eating her birthday cake.
It was Danielle. She was chewing them out because she bought the cake for Leslie. And then, like, after she chews them out, she walks away. The teammate, he's just like, maybe she could teach you a few moves.
You suck at wrestling, bro. And that's all it takes, Steve. AC's like, man, that sucks. And they walk away. And Screech says something to him. And he's like, this sucks, dude. I'm not used to getting razzed. Like, I'm just going to quit. This shit's too hard. It's like, dude, AC, fucking take a minute. Go lift a weight, dude. Pussy.
I don't want to be a dumb jock anyways.
Zack, as that's happening, he's walking around the party. He's like, hey, dude, no drinking on the premises, okay? Which, bummer, dude. What kind of fucking college party is this? But then, unfortunately, as he's getting the beer from that guy, Mr. Rogers comes in because he had a bullet point list of rules, Steve. It's the whole freshman class, Steve. It ain't a couple guys. It's 3,000 people that they got to get that done with. So that seems like a pretty tall task. I do have to point out the hypocrisy or just like the outright unfairness of college law because we got pulled into this situation, Steve. People are doing dirt in the dorm room that you live in. Even if you weren't doing the dirt, you get pulled into the dirt. Steve, you get prosecuted because of the dirt. So
it's your name on the door.
I don't like it, but that's the situation they're in. Everybody's pissed at Zack. He tries to apologize to Leslie, but everybody's seeing through the usual Zack Morris thing. You know, you just charming you, Steve. Like that's how he gets out of everything, but it ain't working in college, Steve. Zack Morris is trash.
She calls him immature and selfish.
Yeah, you wanted some pussy. I know. I see right through you, you fucking scumbag. So Zack's like, you know what? I got to go shoot some pool and just fucking let this stress out. So we cut to the pool table at the dorm, which I guess maybe we had a pool table in our dorms. I don't know. But he's shooting some pool to chill out. And Screech comes down because he's basically the psychologist of everybody now. Maybe he already has a PhD that we don't know about. But Zack says to Screech the same thing AC said. He's like, man, I kind of just thought college was going to be like different, dude. I thought I was going to be winning more. You know? I think honestly, dude, this shit sucks. I'm leaving. I'm going back to Bayside. And Screech is like, it's funny. You and AC, both you are bitches.
First Slater, now you. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Dude, what are you talking about, Slater? Well, Slater's getting his butt kicked and he wants to quit the team. And Zack's like, well, if he quits the team, he loses his scholarship. And this has been his dream for years, man.
Look at Zack being a good friend, though, paying attention. I like that.
This is all he's talked about. I can't let him quit. And Screech is like, well, if he can't, why can't you?
You know what, Screech? You're right. So Zack's got a little work to do, Steve, which he does. Now we cut, and he's got to figure out a grift here. using his typical Zach Morris ethics, he's figured out that if I have a free trip to Hawaii, capiche? And Zach's like, okay, but I honestly, Steve, I don't think this is a big problem to Zach Morris. I feel like he comes from money, so this is an easy grab.
He's helping out at the Falcons Nest because he's got to pay for that Hawaii trip. And he's trying to just, help out his bro. While he's doing that, Leslie comes in and she wants to apologize. He's like, you know what? Let me apologize first. Well, I gotta say, I gotta get this off. What? Stop apologizing while I'm trying to apologize.
I was too hard on you, Zach. You do seem like a nice guy. Look, you've given somebody a free trip. You're working this debt off. You must be a good guy.
You got us off the hook too.
Yeah. Maybe the worm's turning for Zack. Slater, though, still kind of getting the shit end of the stick. But even in this scene, we see that maybe turning because that same rude hottie that we saw in one of the first scenes when Slater was working, she's back, Steve. And she pops over to Slater and she's like, excuse me. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you need another Coke? Do you need me to clean your fucking table up? And she's like, actually, no. I just wanted to say hello because you're fucking sexy as hell.
I saw you at the wrestling practice. Oh, well, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Look, those guys were bigger, but you're better. You're way cuter too.
Yeah. I guess I was an uggo in college, but like this never happened. I've never had a woman just walk up like this. Even at my best, Steve, I've never had somebody just throw it at me. And I got to say, Slater, he's getting that top echelon. Leslie with Zach, you're going down a peg from Kelly Kapowski. So
Yeah.
Slater, maybe college isn't that bad, Steve.
When Slater walks away, man, just tell her I can't make it. Because he's talking to his mom throughout this episode.
Yeah.
He's homesick. He misses her cooking and all of that. And he's like, man, look, I'm tied up.
Tell the bitch I got some shit to do. I'll call her later. So he's Mr. Cool. Then Slater and Zach are talking. Slater pulls out that 20 that Zach gave to that hottie. And he's like, dude, appreciate it, bro. And Zach's like, man, I was just trying to help you out. Which that's a bro move, dude. You're throwing down, I don't care how much money. You throw down a little bit of money to make me feel good about myself, like through getting a chick to just be like, you're hot as fuck. I appreciate it. I feel like that's a great move. But Slater's like, look, dude, I know about it. Cool. But dude, this shit sucks, man. This is way harder than I thought it was going to be. Like him and Zach are just kind of like talking real deal. And he's like, you know what, dude, I'm not giving up. You got me out of my funk. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to go put in some extra hours to get better at wrestling. And turns out Zach's like, dude, me too, man. I'm not going to put in extra hours trying to get some more pussy because me and Leslie got a date.
Not long after that, Leslie comes in. Then it's like, nah, I don't think so.
Psych.
That's the Zach we know and love.
Yeah. I mean, this was it. This was the first. I didn't get into the college years that much, but I remember this. And we're still gonna see some more familiar faces coming up because I know Kelly comes into the play at some point in this show.
Kelly does. I think Lisa makes an appearance. Jessie never shows up. This is the one and only episode Essence Atkins' character is even in the show. I don't know what happened. I guess maybe they just Judy Winslowed her.
I mean, this is literally called pilot. So this was the pilot. So I think that, I think that happens a lot. You do the pilot, you see if it's going to get picked up. When it does, you're like, yeah, we can cut this. Or she didn't want to do that. You lose something, but I like this. We get the humbling of two of like the mighty high school kids, which I think is something that you see in just life in general is like, all those cool kids go to college and it's not necessarily all bells and whistles and all the fun shit that they were experiencing in high school. So I like that. I thought that was kind of a cool way to tell this story.
It is humbling because there was a guy that we went to high school with, and he was just an all-star in everything: football, track, cross cut. He was doing everything, and he ended up going to Bowling Green with us. I'm not going to say his name, but I found out that he was just like he was a walk-on, or he tried out for the football team, and he didn't get picked up. So it's like, yeah, dude, you were king shit in Perrysburg, but like, man, they're way bigger fish when you get to college, man.
Yeah. It was a different thing, man. It definitely was. I wasn't ready for it. I had a lot of fun. My college style or my college years, it got crazy real quick in a fun way. So would I trade it for anything? I'd like the money back, but it was like great times, you know?
It's the best, Matt. In 1995, another finale is airing on NBC, Blossom. Final episode, 5 seasons, 114 episodes, man. Thank you, Blossom, for keeping us afloat that one summer when for whatever reason, you started your season like in July.
In my opinionation, Steve, she saved our lives for that summer. Wasn't clocking the Blossom finale. I'm wondering if it was a good one. You know, they're not always satisfying endings.
Well, it was a two-parter. Joey proposes to Melanie. Nick decides to sell the house. Carol, I'm guessing that's Nick's girl, or it was some. Carol discovers she is pregnant. Blossom gets her first real job. And then in the second part, Blossom, Joey, and Six do not want possible buyers to buy the house.
What about the other brother who was an alcoholic? Did he get it together, Steve?
I didn't watch it. I'm just going off of Wikipedia description, but I hope they found some silver lining in Blossom.
We got Joey Lawrence. We got that legend. We got Blossom. We got Six. Six, I mean, still to this day, Steve. We even got to see her in that Pam spinoff that we didn't get to ever see. But dude, it was a time and place. I'm not the biggest fan of Blossom, but when we watched it, I enjoyed it.
They
Shout
had some
out.
very special episodes. That following year, 1996, Mission Impossible premieres. An American agent under false suspicion of disloyalty must discover and expose the real spy without the help of his organization. Directed by Brian De Palma, starring Tom Cruise, John Voight, Henry Czerny, Emmanuel Barrett, John Reno, Ving Rhames, Kristen Scott Thomas, Emilio Estevez, and Vanessa Redgrave.
And I got to say, Steve, this one did not live up to my memory of the movie. I like this movie, but I got to say, I don't think it stands the test of time. And to see how many of these they've made when you see this first one, surprising. But I think what it is, it's the audacity of these like stunts that Tom Cruise does where they like pump you up. Like he hooked himself to a plane this time. He jumped through like off a building himself. It's just that, you know, it's almost like ECW where like they jumped off of a table that was hung from the ceiling. It's like they're using that kind of marketing.
That's the draw.
Yeah.
What's the franchise, the horror franchise where people at this point just watch it for the fatalities?
Final Destination?
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But in an action sense.
There's parts of this I like. I love the cast. You know, I feel like in my mind, this is like, I like seeing a young Tom Cruise here because he's kind of that cocky guy in this movie. He's not this grizzled vet. He's kind of the guy, he's chewing gum in scenes. He's fucking, yeah, whatever, man. I love this shit. He's one of those guys, you know?
Can I be real with you, Matt?
Yeah.
I never cared for Tom Cruise. Like as a kid, even though Hollywood has tried to force feed me some Tom Cruise, it was like, he's just a guy that's on the. He was never a draw for me.
He's not my favorite. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's people from that era that I put way above him. He's done some good shit, you know, and I think there's, especially in the 80s, there's those movies that are not necessarily like great, but they're fun watches. Even movies like Cocktails. It's just like he did these weird fucking movies that were just kind of like ridiculous. This one, I feel like it's the cast that kind of makes these movies. It's not necessarily him. Yeah. I love Ving Rhames in this movie. I always love seeing John Reno in movies just because he's just kind of got that French cool vibe from being like the professional and stuff.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, this movie, when I watched it again, I just remember it being so much more like polished and just like this big event. And I felt like it kind of came off cheap and not as good as I remember it. The French chick that's like the chick, the John Voight's wife or whatever, she sucks. John Voight's even kind of weird. Like when he's like, oh, like bleeding, it just seemed very like stage.
Speaking of douchebags.
Yeah, exactly. But it led to a lot. And I like, as these went on, I feel like I like the second one better than this, the John Woo one. That's what I kind of like about this franchise is that they're not tied to like the directors.
One director.
They are Tom Cruise. So you get to see like different directors and their take on this, you know, spy franchise. And one other stupid thing I just think is hilarious. The organization that they work for, IMF, the Impossible Mission Force. That sounds like some shit in Captain Planet. You know?
457 million, man. So in 96, not too many people thought it was corny.
No, and I didn't either. And I gotta say, the train sequence at the end with the helicopter, baller. It's fantastic. It's a great action set piece. But yeah, all in all, this is one of those that it's on like the Twister level for me, where I had this in like very high regard from memory, but when I watch it again, I'm like, man, this is actually like this looks like a fucking TV movie for parts of it.
Yeah.
It's fucking
And
wild.
finally, in 1998, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas premieres. An oddball journalist and his psychopathic lawyer travel to Las Vegas for a series of psychedelic escapades. Directed by Terry Gilliam, starring Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. And a small blink if you miss it, or blink and you miss it from Tobey Maguire at the beginning as a terrified hippie. I love this movie. I don't know if everybody would love it. I think I love it more because of my love of Hunter S. Thompson, and just like because I loved him so much. When you find out about the making of this, I feel like it makes it so much more interesting. Like how Johnny Depp literally lived with the guy for months to just kind of get the vibe of him, and they became friends and stuff. And this guy's just a wild dude, man. Hunter S. Thompson, he's rest in peace to a legend, but there's this folklore surrounding him where it's just like this whirling dervish of a human being that's just like powered by drugs, doing crazy shit, putting people in dangerous spots because that's how he wrote. He put himself in the middle of the story and then built off of that. He wasn't like just a regular journalist who was like sitting there like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I'm just going to observe. He wanted to be the story, you know?
Well, I have to ask, are his stories based on reality or are they fictional?
Well, I think that's like sort of the argument I think a lot of people get into. It's like stand-up comedy in the way that there's realness there. Like a lot of this stuff happened, but he's a wordsmith, dude. He's making it more than it is, and he's adding a little bit more. But a lot of this stuff, like for this specifically, like you know how in this movie Raoul Duke is like he has like a tape recorder with him, and he's like constantly like recording shit that's just happening. That's real. Like there are actual tapes that you can get like listen to that Hunter S. Thompson recorded like this that he used to like create this story. But very interesting, man. Like this was not. It's like one of those things where this came from something that was a disaster and became something so much more of this. He was hired by Sports Illustrated to cover a motorcycle event, got all fucked up, thought he ruined his career, and ended up making one of the greatest pieces of like fiction / nonfiction art writing of this time period because of it.
Would you say this is the best retelling of any of his novels?
Absolutely. And this is one where you got to give Gilliam credit, because I think if you read this, and I actually had a documentary that sort of chronicled this a little bit. You know, people would read this and they would want to make it for years. You know, he was friends with Bill Murray in the 70s with Jack Nicholson.
Where the Buffalo roam?
Yeah, so like people knew him, Hollywood loved him, he was friends with celebrities, so people wanted to like use his work to do stuff, but it's so fucking weird. You almost don't know what to do with it, and especially for like this. It's just jambled, like weird fucking just like parts of time just throughout them getting like in just going through like this weird trip, and it goes back and forth, and it's the book is fantastic, and there's like this through line to it, and I think it makes it hard to make a movie out of it, but I do think Terry Gilliam did a great job. He made the psychedelic part of it fantastic. He made it weird the way, and he put the comedy in like that I think is part of the Hunter S. Thompson brand. But like in that documentary, Hunter S. Thompson, before Terry Gilliam got the movie, there was this other guy named Alex something. He was a British director, and there's a video of it because Hunter S. Thompson recorded video of everything. But they're pitching him on this movie, like this director that wants to make this, and he's like, "Yeah, like there's this portion that I want to make into a cartoon, and like it'll show this part of your book, and it'll use Ralph Steadman's like illustrations that are iconic." And it seems like kind of like a good idea, but Hunter S. Thompson's like, "You want to make my shit into a fucking cartoon? Get the fuck out of here!" And like threatens the guy and shit. And he's like, you know, So I think there was like that. There's the difficulty of working with like this weird guy that is very protective of his stuff. Where the Buffalo Roam is a decent movie. It's funny to see Bill Murray try to play the same kind of guy. Not the best. I don't think it is as good as this. And like he made Johnny Depp made another movie that's based off of Hunter S. Thompson's first actual like fiction book called Rum Diary.
Rum Diaries, yeah.
And it's decent. It's just not this. It's more of just like a mellow, like sort of love story kind of thing. But yeah, dude, I love this. And I think Hunter S. like one thing that was very important to Johnny Depp and Terry Gilliam, even though he was so difficult to be around and work with, is that what they made was like he respected, and Hunter S. Thompson very much respected this movie and liked it. So I think that's a huge thing.
I remember when he was on Conan. Conan had interviewed Hunter S. Thompson talking about his time with Johnny Depp, and he called him a son of a bitch. Yeah, I hung out with a son of a bitch. It's like, why is he got to be a son of a bitch? But you mentioned Tobey Maguire, blink if you miss it, man. There's a couple cameos. You got Detective Stabler being sassy behind the hotel desk. Catherine Hellman, she was in this. She was Mona from Who's the Boss. Blinking you miss it.
Okay.
You got Vern Troyer.
Yep.
Blinking you miss it. Mark Harmon, he's in there for like a clip of a scene in the very beginning. He's one of the guys in the desert scene. He's one of the guys. Johnny
Gary
Depp's
Busey's in this too. He's the cop.
Gary Busey. So it's like
also
very
Hunter S. Thompson's in it. He's in it for really like literally 5 seconds. And when you know, like the behind the scenes of that was hilarious because they couldn't. He's too wild to film. Because all he was trying to do was like get all the hot chicks to hang out with him. And they're like, dude, we're trying to film something. I like Johnny Depp a lot, but as his career's gone on, I've kind of like I'm not as like into it as I was, and I feel like this movie always just brings me back. I'm like, dude, Johnny got to live my dream of like hang out with Hunter S. Thompson and be his like best friend, and I think it shows in this movie. And I think he plays like this shows you how good of an actor he is because he plays this part fantastically. You know,
and can't forget about my boo thing, Christina Ricci.
Oh yeah, dude. And just the music in this, like it's in the 70s, so we get a lot of that stuff. Hunter S. Thompson was very like connected to music as well, so like that was very important to him. I definitely would say like watch this and then watch any behind the scenes stuff you can because it's such an interesting tale to see, you know.
And then take a shower afterwards. Because I texted you before this, like, man, I'm watching this again, and I feel really filthy.
Yeah.
Like just like when Benicio's in the tub with his clothes on, and the water is all murky.
There's puke in it and shit. There's puke on the fucking car and stuff. Yeah, hell yeah.
The dinosaur
scene. Is a good. It's like an anti-drug movie almost because it looks really miserable. You know.
Kid, it serves as a PSA, but. Got any callbacks for this week, man?
Well, I was going to just go through 90s trivia with you, Steve.
Redemption.
See if we could get you back on track here. My wife also called these out and said these are way too easy. So Kendra is saying, Steve.
Wait, no. I know she wasn't nailing those scientific Neil deGrasse Tyson questions.
She got three. She got 3 cards, all 6 questions total. 6 for 6, Steve.
Were any of them? Because I wasn't getting those scientific, outer planetary. I wasn't getting those, and like those shouldn't even be in there. Pop fiction, pop culture shit. We there. Sometimes.
All right, dude. I think we got you. I got one we haven't gone through. Channel the spirit of Sabu, Steve, to give you strength. And here we go, Steve. What was the name of Sonic the Hedgehog's sidekick?
Knuckles.
Already, Steve. Tails. Knuckles was his. They hung out. That ain't sidekick. See, but you got this. I mean, if you don't get this, Steve, which basketball star retired from the NBA in 1993, only to return 17 months later?
His airness.
You
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
You got it. I can't believe Tails. I think you just overthought it. You know.
Yeah, you're right, man.
So
1.5. Give me 1.5.
yeah, I mean Knuckles. If we're going like after Sonic 3, the video game, you're right, because he was one of the sidekicks. But I think we all know, and Tails is the number one. Steve.
Tails, that
He's the
heifer.
Screech.
But the androgynous Tails. How could I forget? I thought it was a chick. So it's not a chick.
No,
It's just a very pretty ass boy. Pretty boy
Two
squirrel,
tails.
whatever the
Two
hell.
Tails, Steve.
2 tails.
How about you though?
Well, I want to give a shout out to my favorite wrestler that came out of ECW, man, the one and only genocidal, homicidal, suicidal Sabu. Man, shout out to him. I always thought he was a cool guy, man. If I ever made it to one of those conventions, he would be one of the first guys I'd run up to, man. And I always thought him and Rob Van Dam were the coolest dudes in ECW. They were high flying. They were even a tag team at one point. I think Sabu, actually, he predates the Dudley Boys when it comes to the tables and shit, because he was doing that first when they just had regular tables that couldn't easily be broken. He would try to put his opponent through a table, and if it didn't break, he'd get back on the top rope and make sure it get broke, man. So I think he was the innovator of violence. He was a big part of that allure, that hardcore extreme allure that made ECW so popular. And he's one of a kind, man. I just saw the Dark Side of the Ring where they featured his uncle, the Sheik. He was the original hardcore guy, and Sabu was heavily featured in that episode. Ironically, that was the first episode that aired after he passed, and that wasn't intentional. It just that they already had it scheduled that come out on that day, man. But he was one of my favorites, and I want to give a shout out to Saved by the Bell. I think it's the greatest teenage show ever. You're not going to find anyone that has that kind of cult following or that pop cultural impact as much as Saved by the Bell has had, man.
I almost smoked a joint of that, Steve.
Straight up, man. But that's all I got. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister it's all right, because I'm saved by the it's all right, because I'm saved from you hoes. Check out our guy Ronzilla on TikTok, Wrestling with Ronzilla, and Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra. Our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle. This is Steve G and Mad G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the flat kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Oops, winning.